Doodlebud here. Today we're checking out this gorgeous looking pen. This is the Hongdian D5. Has that Qin Dynasty type of styling to it, or Dynasty, depending on where your inflection point is. This is not typically the type of pen I would go for, and that being said, I didn't purchase this pen. This was actually sent to me by Hongdian to review, and I'm glad they did, because like I said, this doesn't typically appeal to me as far as styling goes with pens. So I would have just overlooked this pen, but having used it and given it a really good close look, I can appreciate the amount of work that went into this one, and it's actually done quite well. Again, not my taste, but I look beyond that at the actual work and craftsmanship that went into this, the assembly and just overall build quality. And the function of the pen, this thing has been working fantastically. I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. So if these are the type of pens for you, I'll give you some insight into that as well. Now, because this isn't really my type of, sort of design and style I go for, it does work fantastically. I'm going to be doing this one as a giveaway, so hopefully it goes into the hands of someone who will appreciate it more and use it more. But let's roll you through. There's lots of detail now. There'll be a link down there in the description to the Hongdian Amazon store. And I guess all of these different characters here, there's a meaning behind it. So there's sort of a guide that goes into that. But when you really start looking at it, like the detail it's really good. I was actually contemplating exactly how they did all this. I got out my little loop there to look a little bit closer. I couldn't tell, is some of the stuff, is there little bits of casting that goes into this, or just how they're doing it? However they are doing it, I'd actually love to see this unplated, so that way you could really see all the details. But overall, the build quality is quite nice. The cap comes off in one turn. Is it one turn or just over a turn? Real darn close to a turn anyways. One turn and a smidge. So let's say 1 1/8. Thank you for a quickly uncapping pen. It's a piston filler. So you got your piston knob back here. There's a tool. Here's the box here. Let me just show this real quick. It's a nice little box. I'm not really huge into boxes, but for those folks who are, there's the box. There's a little dealie here, converter, but it's filled with a little bit of grease so you can service the piston in there. And they even supply the little stamped piston wrench to do that. So that's all you got to see with the box. But the piston mechanism works very well. The operation's quite smooth. It's tough to see. There it is there, and the other side too. That's an ink window. So very subtle, very slight. Obviously, you can tell the color combo they have here. If you go on to the Amazon store, there's a bunch of other ones. They said, which color combo would I like? This was kind of the tamest one of the bunch, which is I think it's tastefully done though. Some of the other ones are even more exuberant with the colors. Definitely not my style, but how they did them, I can appreciate the job they did. You even have all this. This looks like it's sort of on the armor of ancient battle gear as well. So yeah, I can really appreciate the nib. It's just as far from a design perspective, it goes really well with the pen. This one is fit with a fine nib. You can see the F there. I would say that's about the only drawback of the whole pen. I'll do writing sample, all that stuff, weights and measurements and blah, blah, blah. But I think especially a pen like this, it's quite heavy. It's a full metal body pen. I think having some larger nib points to sort of suit a pen like this, I think that'd be a wise decision. Get some mediums, get some broads, even a stub. I think that would really just kind of sort of suit the character of this pen, because it does stand out quite a bit. It posts. It becomes extremely long if you do that. But if that's your cup of tea, take a sip. There it is, and it's quite secure. Now, I wasn't quite sure if this turns the piston or not. It seems to back off. I guess it depends if you really wrench it on there, but just if you put it on there, it pops off without turning the piston knob. So that's quite nice. This is about the only little thing I saw on the pen. Let me turn the flash. I guess that's just some of the, it doesn't get the plating on there as well. So that's the metal underneath. And then you got your cap liner down in there. So you just see that one. There's that little ridge there. That would be maybe the only thing worthwhile touching up, just to kind of finish off with all the shiny bits. You got that one little bit there, but other than that, it's quite good. It writes nicely. I like the feed that's on here. It keeps it nice and wet. It's smooth and wet for a fine point nib. I mean, you don't really have a really juicy fine nibs, but it writes the way it should. It cap's on there nicely. It seals nicely. The pen hasn't dried out on me. All sorts of good things, and just gorgeous design on there. Again, not my personal preference, but I could see the appeal to this, especially if you do it well. It's one thing to have a pen look expensive or fancy and you just do a terrible job. I don't like pens. I don't like anything like that. This one is reasonably priced. Again, the pricing will be on the Amazon store, depending if you're in the US or Canada. The currency will exchange. So anyways, I'll have a link down there. I wasn't expecting much when I see this type of much flash and bling. I always expect it to be really cheesy, but they did a really good job on here. The clip, I would say, is a little too stiff. Like, that's not going to slip over a shirt pocket very easily, or even on, if you put it on a notebook. Like, if I try to slip it onto this notebook, it is a soft leather. But, you know, you can't. You got to kind of pry it open and get it on there. So I would just say, just relax the clip a little bit, make it a little bit softer, a little more springy, so it's a little more functional. But other than that, that's really it. What you see is what you get. There's a lot of detail going on. So I'm trying to show you all the different angles. Good size. I have a pretty large hand. I'll do size comparison, but it fits my hand nice. Section. Those little armor bits there, it gives it a nice grip as well. Threads are smooth. Just everything. Like, honestly, I'm quite impressed. I'm quite impressed with the pen. So I'm glad they sent this over, so I could get a look at it, because I thought it wasn't going to be executed that well. They did a great job on this, and can't wait to give it to someone. So they'll use it a lot more than me and really, really appreciate it. Hope it goes to someone like that. During the writing sample, I'll tell you how to get your hands on this. The size comparison, here we go. We have a Mahjong A3 review coming soon. Jinhao X159, the Hongdian D5 Pilot 823, and an Esterbrook SD normal size. Caps are off now, so you can get a quick look there. I'd say all these 4 pens here are pretty close in overall length. Now, being a full metal pen, it's got some serious mass to it. How much exactly? Let's have a look. Look at that, 55 grams. How much of that is in the cap? Well, 20, so that's going to be easy. 35 grams in the body. That is also inked, and if memory serves me right, I think I was getting, it was right between about 1.5, 1.6 milliliters of ink, just filling up with the piston there. Let's get you some official dimensions. 142, 131.8, a little over 175 posted. Cap diameter, body diameter. The section goes from 12 millimeters to 10.5 at the most narrow. A little flare out at the end, and the section length here, about 22 millimeters up to the start of the threads. And like I said, the threads here and transition is very nice and smooth. So even if you are a high gripper, you got the whole length of the pen here and everything is comfy. Now, because the nib writes quite fine, and I think it just doesn't suit the pen as well, I'm using my Regalia paper. It just naturally thickens up the line a little bit. So I'm going to attempt to write and talk at the same time. It missed there because I had it on cap for so long. To enter, to win the pen, to do a draw, you know, there's so many things you could leave. Just leave a comment if you don't know what else to leave. Well, obviously, it's going to be a comment. I will randomly pick someone from the list. You got to be a subscriber, and you will win it. But I'm always open to suggestions for video topics. So any ideas you have, if there's like an Ask Me Anything type thing you guys would like to see, or just, you know, nib problems, pen problems, troubleshooting, whatever it is. Like, I obviously got lots of reviews I'm going to do. But yeah, I also have a ton of ideas. I think I'm up to 70 different video ideas. And yeah, so I got lots of stuff to keep me busy, but I'm always open to hear other suggestions as well. This nib writes quite nicely. Very smooth, you know, lovely writer, good wetness. I've been very happy with it. I'll write some stuff on here, just random whatnots. I like writing amazing nib. Azure Noir. I like doing my cursive A's. That was not a good one. I just find it's a nice stroke, and then I can sort of test the pen out, look for catchy spots and stuff like that. And this one does not have any catchy spots whatsoever. It's really, really good. You know, it's a bit heavy, especially it wouldn't be my favorite pen for printing, let's say. But it gets the ink on the page, works quite well. The ink, by the way, it's sort of drying, and maybe you'll see some of the sheen. There we go. I did this ink a little while ago, a separate review. It's a random ink I picked up of Aliexpress, and it's an amethyst. Now in the video I said amethyst, just for fun, and it blew people's minds. So I will continue to call it amethyst. But if you want to check out that ink, you know, it'll be on my channel as well. But yeah, lovely writer. It even it's got some nice wetness, so even on a fine nib, also this paper too, it's showing off some of that sheen. So cool looking pen. It seals really well, so whoever the winner is, I'm actually going to send it to you inked. Why not? It's ready to write out of the box. One last look at the pen as we wrap up. I will do the draw December 1st to announce the winner. You got to be a subscriber. And again, like I said, leave a comment down below. The announcement will go on the community page of the YouTube channel. You will see a post there. So I'll do the draw December 1st. Thanks again to Hongdian for sending me this pen to review. I would have never picked this one for myself. But I'm glad you sent it over because, yeah, you did a really good job on this thing. Really, really did. I'm hoping this will get in the hands of someone who will really appreciate it much more than me. And we'll leave it there for now. Questions, comments, obviously, you got to hit subscribe if you haven't, if you want to win it. Until then, we'll catch you next time.